The underestimated vessel, the FSV Chimera, drifted into Galactic Coalition Station Epsilon 9's docking bay like a relic from a forgotten era. Its hull was a patchwork of mismatched metals, some sections darker than others, with visible welding seams that made the entire vessel look like it had been assembled by blind engineers during a power outage. Among the sleek, gleaming ships of the Coalition's 27-member species, the human vessel stood out like a sore thumb. Captain Maya Reeves watched through the viewscreen as a group of station personnel pointed at her ship and laughed. She was used to it by now. 4 years patrolling the outer territories had earned the Chimera a reputation, just not the kind that inspired confidence. Docking complete, Captain, reported Lieutenant Hikaru Sato, her navigation officer. Station control says we're cleared for a 48-hour resupply and maintenance window. Acknowledged, Maya replied, rising from her command chair. At 35, she was young for a ship captain by Coalition standards, where most commanding officers had centuries of experience. Humans were newcomers to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 70 years ago. Their biological lifespans seemed criminally brief to the long-lived species that dominated Coalition politics. Commander Ellis, you have the bridge. I'm going to meet with Station Command and see about our repair requisitions. Her first officer nodded. Good luck with that, Captain. Last time they gave us recycled parts from a decommissioned waste management vessel, which actually worked better than the original components, Maya reminded him with a slight smile. Don't forget what makes us different. As she walked through the Chimera's corridors, Maya ran her hand along the bulkhead. The ship vibrated with a subtle hum that felt almost alive. To the untrained eye, the interior looked as haphazard as the exterior. Exposed conduits, manual override levers instead of automatic systems, and interfaces that appeared decades out of date. But appearances could be deceiving. The station's reception committee consisted of a single junior officer, a Taurian with blue-tinged skin and 4 arms who couldn't quite hide his disdain. Captain Reeves, welcome to Epsilon 9, he said, his translator struggling with the undertones of his native language. I am Lieutenant Kistik. I've been assigned to process your vessel's requirements. Thank you, Lieutenant. We need standard resupply plus maintenance on our port maneuvering thrusters. They're operating at 83% efficiency. The Taurian made a gesture that translated roughly as dismissive amusement. 83%. Most ships would be decommissioned at 95%. Your persistence with this outdated technology is curious. Maya had heard variations of this sentiment countless times. We make do with what we have, Lieutenant. Indeed, the Admiralty has assigned your vessel to the outer patrol route again. Not surprising. The Chimera would be inappropriate for ceremonial functions or diplomatic missions. We go where we're needed, Maya replied evenly. As they walked through the station's central promenade, the lieutenant continued his subtle barbs. I understand human vessels usually have more aesthetic appeal. Your Chimera seems quite the exception. She has her charms, Maya replied. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion at the station's command center. Officers rushed in and out, and Maya could see a tactical display showing multiple incoming vessels. What's happening? She asked a passing officer. Vraxian fleet detected heading toward the Helios colony, the officer replied hurriedly. 17 warships including their dreadnought. Maya's blood ran cold. The Vraxians were a warrior race that had refused coalition membership, preferring to raid and pillage rather than cooperate. Helios Colony was a scientific outpost with minimal defenses, housing researchers from dozens of species. Where's the nearest coalition battle group? She demanded. Lieutenant Kisik checked a terminal. 6 hours away at maximum warp. They've been alerted, but he didn't need to finish. In 6 hours, Helios Colony would be reduced to orbiting debris. Maya activated her comm unit. Commander Ellis, prepare the Chimera for immediate departure. Plot an intercept course to Helios Colony at maximum speed. The lieutenant stared at her in disbelief. Captain Reeves, You cannot seriously intend to engage a Vraxian fleet with your vessel. It would be suicide. What's the alternative? Let thousands of civilians die without even trying to help. Your bravery is commendable but misguided, said a new voice. Admiral Tholos, the station commander, approached with a grave expression on his elongated face. Your ship cannot hope to defeat or even delay 17 Vraxian warships. Maya met his gaze steadily. With respect, Admiral, you don't know what my ship can do. I know exactly what your ship can do, Captain. It barely maintains coalition certification standards. Your request to intercept is denied. Maya straightened her shoulders. Sir, I'm invoking Emergency Protocol 718. In cases of imminent civilian casualties when no other coalition assets are available, a captain may act at their discretion. The Admiral's expression darkened. You're risking your ship and crew on a futile gesture. Perhaps, but humans have a long history of futile gestures that somehow work out. Maya turned to leave. I've made my decision, Admiral. Then the consequences are yours to bear, Captain. 20 minutes later, the Chimera detached from the station and accelerated to warp speed. On the bridge, Maya addressed her crew. I won't sugarcoat this. We're facing overwhelming odds against a superior enemy force. But Helios Colony has no other hope. If we can delay the Vraxians until the battle group arrives, we might save thousands of lives. Commander Ellis spoke up. Captain, should we activate the hyper protocols? Maya considered this. Not yet. Let's see what we're dealing with first. The element of surprise is our greatest advantage. The journey to Helios took less than an hour at the Chimera's maximum warp, which was significantly faster than its official specifications indicated. They dropped out of warp directly in the path of the oncoming Vraxian fleet. On the view screen, the enemy vessels looked like predatory birds, their hulls bristling with weapons. The largest, the Dreadnought, was nearly 20 times the Chimera's size. They're hailing us, reported Lieutenant Commander Zara Ahmed from communications. On screen, Maya ordered. The harsh features of a Vraxian commander filled the view screen. His scaled skin was a deep crimson, and multiple battle scars crisscrossed his face. Coalition vessel, you are interrupting a military exercise. Remove yourself from our path, or be destroyed. Maya stepped forward. This is Captain Maya Reeves of the Federation starship Chimera. You are approaching a protected scientific outpost. Withdraw immediately. The Vraxian commander laughed, revealing rows of serrated teeth. One pathetic human ship against my Armada. Your courage is admirable but foolish. We will destroy you first, then the colony. I'm giving you one chance to retreat, Maya warned. And I'm giving you 10 seconds to flee before I open fire. The transmission ended. They're powering weapons, reported Lieutenant Chow, the tactical officer. Maya took a deep breath. All sections, battle stations, initiate Chimera Protocol Alpha. As the crew acknowledged her orders, something remarkable happened. Panels that had appeared to be haphazard patches shifted, revealing concealed weapon ports. The reactor output suddenly jumped to 200% with no signs of strain. Vraxian vessels firing, Zhao announced. The first volley from the Vraxian fleet should have vaporized the Chimera. Instead, the shot seemed to pass through the ship entirely, hitting nothing. Holographic displacement active, reported Sato. Phantom projections functioning at optimal levels. On the Vraxian ships, confusion reigned as their sensors showed multiple chimeras, all identical, all broadcasting the same signature. Deploy hydrodrones, Maya ordered. Target their weapons and propulsion systems. Sections of the Chimera's hull that had appeared to be poorly attached panels detached completely, revealing themselves to be autonomous combat drones. Dozens of them swarmed outward, each carrying weapons that should have been impossible to fit on such small platforms. Fire phase disruptors, pattern Sierra, Maya commanded. Weapons that had never appeared on any official coalition registry fired from the Chimera's previously concealed ports. The energy signatures were like nothing the Vraxians had encountered, bypassing their shields completely and disrupting their power systems. The battle had begun, and the ship everyone had dismissed was about to show why appearances could be fatally deceiving. The revelation. Chaos erupted across the Vraxian fleet as the first wave of hydrodrones struck with surgical precision. The small autonomous weapons platforms moved with impossible agility, weaving between energy beams and projectiles. Each drone targeted critical systems, weapons arrays, shield emitters, engine exhausts, with weapons that shouldn't exist on vessels their size. Aboard the Chimera, Maya watched the tactical display with intense focus. Status report. 3 Vraxian destroyers disabled, Zhao reported. Their shields are fluctuating as they try to adapt to our phase disruptors. The dreadnought is altering its attack pattern, attempting to isolate our actual position from the holographic decoys. Commander Ellis studied his console. Hydra Swarm Alpha reporting 20% losses. Swarm Beta is fully operational and in position to engage the dreadnought. Maya nodded. Launch Chimera Echo Protocol. A ripple passed across the ship's hull as a previously invisible system activated. To the Vraxians, it appeared as if the Chimera was splitting apart, its sections separating but remaining operational, a technological feat that defied their understanding of starship design. In reality, the Chimera remained intact. What the Vraxians saw was a combination of holographic projections and actual autonomous sections that could detach and function independently. It was a technology humans had perfected, but never shared with their coalition allies. On the Vraxian flagship, Commander Krazak snarled in frustration. What trickery is this? How can one obsolete vessel split into multiple attack platforms? His tactical officer's voice trembled. Unknown, Commander. Their weapons are bypassing our shields as if they weren't there. We've lost propulsion on vessels 3 through 7. Vessels 9 and 12 report complete systems failure. Focus all fire on the central vessel, Krazak ordered. We cannot determine which is the central vessel, came the desperate reply. Sensors show identical signatures for all targets. Maya's voice came over the Vraxian communication channels, projected simultaneously to every ship in their fleet. This is your final warning. Withdraw now or face complete neutralization. Krazak roared in defiance. We do not retreat from inferior forces. All vessels, converge on Sector 7 and eliminate everything. The Vraxian fleet regrouped, concentrating their firepower on a region of space where several Chimera projections appeared most vulnerable. Energy beams and projectiles tore through empty space as the holograms dissolved and reformed elsewhere. They've committed to a concentrated attack, Ellis observed. Their flank is exposed. Execute Maneuver Theta, Maya ordered. All Hydra swarms target their command and control systems. The Chimera performed a maneuver that should have torn apart a vessel with its structural design, swinging behind the Vraxian formation, while its drones executed a coordinated strike against the fleet's communication arrays. Within moments, the enemy vessels lost coordination, their movements becoming erratic. Lieutenant Joe looked up from his console. Captain, the dreadnought is charging what appears to be a Nova cannon. Energy readings are off the charts. Maya's expression remained calm. They're getting desperate. Deploy countermeasure Omega. From the Chimera's underside, a small, innocuous probe launched toward the dreadnought. It was barely the size of a shuttle but contained technology that represented humanity's most closely guarded secret. Omega deployed. Zhao confirmed. 5 seconds to contact. On the view screen, the massive dreadnought's forward section began glowing with accumulated energy, preparing to release a blast that could vaporize a small moon. The probe reached its destination just as the Nova cannon prepared to fire. Instead of an explosion, a strange field encompassed the dreadnought's weapon. The accumulated energy seemed to fold in upon itself, creating a localized implosion that disabled the cannon and sent power surges through the vessel's systems. What just happened? Ellis asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Dimensional inversion, Maya explained. We redirected their weapon's energy into a subdimension. The backlash should have disabled most of their primary systems. Indeed, the dreadnought was now drifting, its lights flickering as emergency systems struggled to maintain basic functions. The battle's momentum had shifted completely. What had begun as 17 warships against one apparent underdog had become 7 partially functional vessels against an enemy they couldn't effectively target or understand. A new transmission came from the dreadnought. Commander Krazek's face appeared on screen, his expression a mixture of rage and disbelief. "What manner of deception is this? Your vessel was assessed as a minimal threat. Our intelligence indicated outdated technology and limited capabilities." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "That was the point, Commander. Your intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to see." "What are you?" he demanded. "We're humans," she replied simply. "We learned long ago that appearing weaker than you are is sometimes the greatest strength of all. Now, will you withdraw your remaining forces, or shall we continue this demonstration?" After a moment of visible internal struggle, Krazek gave the order to retreat. The functioning Vraxian vessels moved to assist their disabled comrades, and the fleet slowly limped away from Helios Colony's vicinity. As the immediate threat receded, Maya ordered the Chimera return to its standard configuration. The holographic projections disappeared, the drones reattached to their docking ports, and the ship once again looked like the patchwork, outdated vessel that had been the butt of jokes throughout the Coalition. 4 hours later, the Coalition battle group arrived, led by Admiral Tholos himself. His flagship dwarfed the Chimera, gleaming with the latest technology and weaponry. The Admiral requested permission to board, which Maya granted. When he arrived on the bridge, his expression was unreadable. "Captain Reeves," he began formally, "I came expecting to recover your remains and those of your crew. Instead, I find the Vraxian fleet in retreat and your vessel undamaged." Maya stood to face him. "Sometimes appearances can be deceiving, Admiral." "So it would seem." He looked around the bridge, noting the seemingly outdated interfaces and exposed circuitry. "Our sensors detected energy signatures and technological applications that aren't in any Coalition registry." "I imagine they did. Care to explain?" Maya gestured to a nearby console, where Lieutenant Joe brought up a tactical replay of the battle. "Humanity joined the Coalition as junior partners. We were told our technology was primitive, our methods outdated, our perspectives limited by our short lifespans. That assessment wasn't incorrect based on what you shared," Tholos pointed out. "What we shared, yes." Maya nodded. "But humans learned something long before we reached the stars, Admiral. In a universe of older, stronger civilizations, appearing harmless is a survival strategy. We showed you outdated warp drives while developing dimensional inversion. We demonstrated rudimentary shields while perfecting holographic displacement. We let you believe we were struggling to keep pace while surpassing you in ways you never imagined." Admiral Tholos's expression darkened. "You deliberately missiled the Coalition." "We protected ourselves," Maya corrected. "Every species in the Coalition held back technologies they considered advantageous. The Axanar never shared their graviton manipulation. The Vulpians kept their temporal sensors classified. We simply took the concept further. By disguising your ships as obsolete vessels," Tholos said, understanding dawning. "The Chimera isn't unique, Admiral. Every human ship that looks outdated, every base that seems primitive, every technology that appears to be playing catch-up, they're all part of the same strategy. We call it the Trojan Horse Protocol." The Admiral's translator struggled with the reference, but he grasped the concept. "Your entire species has been hiding in plain sight." "Not hiding," Maya clarified. "Adapting. It's what humans do best." As the Admiral departed, visibly shaken by the implications, Commander Ellis approached Maya. "That conversation will reach Coalition headquarters within hours," he noted. "The political fallout will be significant." Maya nodded. It was inevitable. The Vraxians would have spread the word anyway. Better to control the narrative. "And what narrative is that, Captain?" Maya looked out at the stars through the view screen. That the ship everyone ignored just saved thousands of lives. That humanity isn't what everyone assumed. And perhaps most importantly, that underestimating others based on appearances is the greatest strategic mistake in any galaxy. As the Chimera prepared to escort the remaining Vraxian vessels to a coalition security outpost, Maya couldn't help but smile at the sudden flood of communication requests from various coalition officials who had previously ignored her ship's existence. The patchwork vessel that had been mocked throughout coalition space had revealed just a fraction of humanity's true capabilities, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again.